Hey guys, it's Jay. So this interview has been like really wanted by a lot of people. Nick's been trying to do this interview with PBD, Patrick Bet David, for a while, but Patrick said he didn't like how Nick used the N word so many times, and I don't know what happened. Something changed. Now the interview's here, and it's actually a pretty good interview. It's not as contentious as you would expect. PBD's conservative. Nick is kind of like a conservative, but not exactly. PBD's like your ideal conservative. I mean, a little bit lofty on with Israel's section. Nick is more aggressive, and like straight up. And Nick didn't like how PBD when he interviewed Netanyahu, he softball questions, especially because there's a huge war going on, and a lot of death and stuff. So you'd think he would have asked better questions. I don't like when Republicans like they act like if it was a leftist they were interviewing, they'd be a lot more aggressive, and if it's on their side, they act different. I don't like it. It's all shit, like interviewing is an interview. There's no friends in interviews, so I don't know. But regardless, PVD, he's about to go over, why he decided to take this interview with Nick, and we'll go from there.
Nick Fuentes on your podcast. Why would you do that? My lawyers, don't do it. You know what's a great thing? I don't have sponsorship to lose. I don't have to worry about an investor saying they're not in. No. And me, for my entire career, I'll talk to anybody. And the reason why I wanted to speak to him is because this interview happened the day after me leaving Charlie Kirk's memorial, which was the most magical revival I've been in my entire life. Charlie was 31. He's in his mid to late 20s. And I feel what we need today more than anything else is to continue talking to each other. And if we don't learn about each other, what are we going to do? Hate?
That's kind of interesting because people expect there's a void that Charlie Kirk left. And a lot of people think that Nick's going to be the fill-in or whatever for Charlie Kirk. And people might think that's crazy because of how progressive and how he is, blunt. But here's the thing, the problem with the right, with Republicans and everybody is because they talk good game and but they act the same in the end. You have protesters outside of his funeral get together the other day and going off on Charlie with signs and calling him a racist, and then you have Republicans inside the building saying how great he is, how great everything is. But the irony is, both sides always come to the same conclusion. Whether it's Democrat or Republican, it always ends the same. I thought that when Trump took over, that we'd still have the same issues that we had with Joe Biden. I mean, I voted for Trump 3 times, and it's crazy. It's like, dude, I don't know, he's trying to act like John McCain. I don't know what's going on. It's kind of crazy if you think about it. He just gave $6 billion to Israel. Come on. It's not just America needs money, but they already get billions every year anyways. And these people I don't even think they have stones to throw. So I don't know what his angle is. And now he's going to back up Ukraine. They're saying that Ukraine's always playing defense. They need to play offense to finish this. What happened to ending the war in 24 hours? I don't understand. And Nick's very, 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 very critical of Trump, and he should be because he's, he says the same thing. What happened to America first? And it's like we're kind of belies ourselves. Trump is going after Tucker. He's going after Thomas Massey, and Thomas Massey is you guys, us, what we always wanted, and what he promised. Trump promised us basically what Thomas Massey is, and now he's backing up people and trying to get him primaried because he's sticking to that message. Trump did veer from that message. There's no doubt about it. And so same thing with Marjorie Greene Taylor. Same thing. They're going after the people who actually are America first. I guess they want you to be America first, maybe in speeches, but not so much behind behind closed doors, which is bullshit. Look, there's a void right now. There's a bunch of young people right now who are disillusioned with Trump. Trump, he got a lot of people to vote for him this time. Independents, people on the left, but now they're all mad because nothing's changing. It doesn't seem like it's going to change. And now Charlie's dead. you know, and it's sad, you know. Like I said, I'm not a commentator. I only started doing this because I did an AI video dedication to Charlie because I don't know, I always liked him, and I don't know, it really was hard to deal with. I did a video. I'm not gonna lie, so you know, it was not my thing, I guess. I just did it, and then so I'm doing this now, kind of, because I don't know. Everyone keeps talking about honoring him, but they're just doing it in words. I feel like they're not really doing it action, you know. So I don't know. It's the whole thing, but people, you know, Charlie died basically to make the Trump vision come true. You know, the promises, but you know, when Charlie died, they passed a law that Charlie was against earlier in the year, and they passed it right when he died, and it was led by Lauren Boebert. It's about like you can't boycott Israel, you don't get U.S. Contracts and stuff like that. I mean, come on! And now we're talking about hate speech laws. I mean, what's going on? This is crazy. But anyways, the reason I'm bringing all this up is because the young people need a leader. Nick's starting to fill that role. You're gonna have to figure out if that's what you think the right solution is. I mean, we've had the other side. We've had the guy that's prim and proper, said the right things, right? We did. But what did we get? Nothing. We got the same old bullshit. So then we got Trump, he was very honest, which was refreshing, you know, even if it was really aggressive, but same shit. So who's left? It seems like Nick, the Candace types, and so we'll see. But here, Patrick's going to explain why he decided to do the interview.
Misinformed, agitate, divide, continue to call each other out, and create this temperature to go higher and higher and higher? No, guess what? You know what podcast I did with this guy? I don't know if there's a podcast that you'll learn how he became who he became. What caused him to go from being a pro-Thomas Sowell guy, pro-PragerU, to a girl at Daily Wire who he was hanging out with. I think they even liked each other at one point, that became a Jew, converted, and then did certain things, and some retweets, some incidents with Ben, that the temperature elevated. One after another, and then in one video while he's at a university at this Leadership Institute, where the camera is kind of angled and this girl records him saying something about blacks, that goes viral. He gets blocked from all the conservative interviews, and at a young age, he goes from here to the entire whole different level.
I'll fill you in. What he's referring to is some girl that Nick was talking to was secretly recording him, and she said to him, do you think sleeping with a black guy is like sleeping with a dog? Along those lines. And I'm sure you can guess what Nick said. And then she set him up, leaked it, and then he started getting banned and this, and you know the routine, how that works. And he's just now calling back, kind of. I mean, ever since Twitter let him back on, he's been on a roll and stuff. But that's what he's referring to, and people think he's racist. I mean, I'll leave that for you to decide. I can't tell if it's racism or if it's just brutal honesty, but I mean, PBD and actually me too. You know, we're both Middle Eastern, but we both married white women, and that's what he's why he got offended also, because Nick doesn't think you should have crossbreeding. But ironically, his dad's Mexican, but I don't know logistics he's going by. But so it was that and the N-word, all that stuff. So, but no, he decided to do it. So I'll shut up.
And I asked him a couple questions. Who are you more concerned about? Jews in America or Muslims? His answer is very interesting. I asked him, who's a bigger net positive, Jews or Muslims? You're going to be surprised by the answer. It's a technical answer, but we had a very good conversation.
Okay. Guys, just so you know, this is my second time ever doing this. So if you see any iffy or like, if it's not as smooth and professional, it's because I'm new to this. So please bear with me, but I will continue. He's just talking about the incident I just brought up about the girl who secretly recorded him about what he said about black people. They're going into it now. You can hear it.
This is not some kind of good faith, because you said the comment is racist. And would I phrase it that way if I was saying it in an official public capacity? No. But we tend not to do those things when we think we're in private, in confidence. You kind of understand that there's some discretion there. And that's not to say that I'm, thought I could get away with it, but we don't speak in a lawyerly way when we're among friends.
Do you believe that? You don't believe that, though.
He's basically saying he thought he was alone, and when you're alone, you tend to say things a little bit off. I mean, I'm sure we all say stupid stuff when we think we're alone. The only difference is he got caught. A lot of people don't. So he's just going over it. I mean, I don't know. I don't think he's against like wants bad things to happen to certain races. I think he's more like talking about culturally keeping things lined up. You know, they always say when you bring immigrants to to your country, then the country basically becomes the immigrant. So it's like I think that's what more referring to. He doesn't really care about the color of your skin or not. It's more about some. I think something like traditional values or what he thinks traditional values are. I'm not gonna like write him off right away. I don't. It's hard to trust. It's hard to know who to trust. I mean, after you've been lied to so much, I mean, you just don't know what the hell. I mean, did you think last time, like when we voted for Trump, did you think that most of us would be still iffy of the FBI? When I heard Dan Bongino and Cash Patel were gonna run it, I was like, whoa, you know. And we got all this, all the power in every facet: the Congress, Senate, President, even Supreme Court. I mean, and then we're still having the same problems as when Joe Biden was president. So it's hard, right? I mean, it's very hard. And then to see Charlie die, you know, that really upset me because his death should mean more to this country. Well, it didn't mean a lot. You know, as Christians, you know, all of us appreciate that. But he also was doing it for the country's future, and you really want to honor him. Do what he thought was right. I mean, because what he did, what he wanted was right. It wasn't like it was debatable. All right, sorry. Here we go.
What? That it's degenerate?
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's immoral. I don't know that I would say degenerate, but I
Okay.
would say it's contrary to my values.
How much are you saying that in that moment because you're trying to be a shock jock and you're trying to get attention?
I wasn't trying to be shock jock. Think about the question that was posed. Let's just back. I want to know what you think about this. We're in a private conversation. A girl takes her phone out, starts secretly recording, and says, "Is having sex with a black man the same as having sex with a dog?"
Did you know she was doing that or no?
I didn't know she was.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, listen. Yeah, you got.
What is that to you? That's a setup.
Nick, I'm talking to you in a way as if you're my nephew or my son. Not in a. Don't take it as I'm this to you. I'm not doing that at all. I'm just talking to you as I'm new to this game. I'm a business guy, so I haven't been. When I hear the histories, I don't know everyone's histories. When you don't know what you're talking about, you're right. We don't know the history of everybody, but we're willing to learn. We'll talk to everybody. The way I see it, Nick, is one of my kids is very political, more than I'm political, but he's in the climate. So he's always, you know, yesterday he's at the Charlie's memorial, and this was one of the most difficult days of his life, witnessing Charlie pass away. I've never seen him. This is a very strong kid. 30 minutes on my shoulders going because of what happened with Charlie. He's sitting right there at the event, listening to everything for 5 hours, and he's loving it. It's not like, oh my God, I want to go home. I'm tired. Can we eat? Can we do this? He's all in it. The way I look at you and the way I look at Charlie is one of my kids is probably going to pursue this route, and he's going to go into politics. And I think you have an opportunity to mentor them to learn from the mistakes you made. Because whether you know it or not, you got a lot of kids that follow you, okay? More than they follow me. There's more 13-year-olds following you than they're following me. This is not sarcasm. It's not a shot.
That's that right there. What you just said about Nick having a lot of young followers and why they think he might be the void to fill in for Charlie Kirk, even though their temperament's way opposite. But it's because he's really popular with the youth. And after this last election, because Republicans made promises to the young people, independents, people on the right in the middle, and even some left people on the left. Promises that sounded so good, and everyone decided to vote for Trump, and now like that's nothing got better. If anything, it might be getting worse, and so they're gonna be disillusioned and they're gonna be pissed off. Just like with the whole Epstein thing. I mean, that was ridiculous. Why? Like the Democrats are gonna have a lot of ammo. I'm telling you, they took abortion and crushed it in the midterms, last midterm. So think about it. Like, I don't know why we're giving them ammo. We're devouring ourselves. You know, Tucker, Elon, and Trump, and then RFK. That was like, wow, it was a beautiful thing. We're going to get shit done. And now half of them don't want to talk to each other. Trump calls Tucker kooky, which is, no, what kooky? He's just America first, legit. And then there's Elon. He had a falling out with Elon. That didn't go well. And then, Trump having dinner with Bill Gates and then Zuckerberg. Yeah, they're going to say it was a tech dinner, but there was another time they had dinner, and Trump said it was because him and Bill Gates were talking about the health of the world and AIDS. And that's the last person I would want him talking to about the health of the world. But right now, Charlie's dead. That's all that matters. And his death so far hasn't seemed to phase Trump. I mean, they just passed a law that he was actually against. I mean, they got to it at the White House. I mean, Charlie said, "Don't bomb Iran, please." It's not going to be good, and Trump got mad at him for it, and Trump bombed Iran. But Charlie's gone. Someone's going to fill the void, and people think it's going to be Nick. I'd like to know what you guys think. And should it be him? I mean, we've done both ends, Democrats, Republicans. One say nice things, one say awful things. We all met at the same exit. So
just the truth, right? Just like you were following maybe somebody and looking up at them. I think you got to be careful, but I also think it comes with the territory. Like when I was growing up, I was hanging out with gangsters in LA. And I remember one day I'm in Vegas, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm in the street with a 15-year-old kid that's driving a car, and he's got a gun that I don't know he's got a gun. Guys pull up here to our left, handful of African-American guys. "Where are you from, homie? Where are you from?" He pulls out the gun. "From New York." Boom, boom. I'm 15 years old. We're out there running in the streets of Vegas. Guess what? You got to be careful who you get in the car with. That could have been the last day of my life. Mm-hmm. Somehow I made it. I go upstairs. My dad see me. My heart's like shaking. That was the risk then. I don't know if so much of that is the risk today. The risk is what you just did. You got to be careful what you're saying. Well, and that comes with certain, backlash and responsibility. But I also think
he's referring to not too long, less than a year ago, I think it was. Someone came to Nick's house with a gun. They're trying to kill him. I don't know why the hell that's the solution. I don't get it. Like, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, people don't know what happened with Charlie, and you might think, oh, we already know, but candidates don't think so. But now they're reopening the case. They were supposed to shut it. Now they're going to look into it more. FBI. Again, you can't really trust Cash anymore. And Dan Bongino, where the hell has he been? I mean, they talked a good game. Very frustrating, though. They got in power. It's like they got replaced by pod people.
But I also think,
and this is going to get me in trouble, I also think we should be forgiving. I also think we should be forgiven for Ben writing that, as well as you saying it. I also think it needs to be like, listen, yeah, I mean, maybe he said this. I don't know his upbringing. I'm trying to find that mom, dad. I've seen some stuff with mom and what some of the stuff she said, and maybe it's the influence from grandma. It's not. It's Mark Levin. It's not like you had a racist person. I don't see that. But we also have to be a little bit forgiving, because if we don't and we stoke it more, you're going to get worse and worse and worse, right? The next person is going to want to get even more and more radical. Let's go past this one. If you don't mind.
I just want to say one thing,
please,
if I can, because I hear you and I agree with you. And I try to tell my followers now, I shake my head when my followers are trying to be edgy or edgelording, trolling, whatever. I totally agree. And I try to be a better role model now. And in politics, you do got to be careful what you say, because you're right. And everybody's always watching. The only reason I say that is to kind of paint a picture from my entire 18th year on Earth. I'm an 18-year-old college freshman. It's not like I was out here being problematic, being hateful, being a monster. It's that a decision was made that I had the wrong views. And because I had the wrong views, there was
I'll save you the time. I know you guys, we're all busy, but he just goes into his behavior when he was being censored, and that one girl who asked him about the dog and the black man. So, okay. That was a pretty mild, laid-back interview. It wasn't contentious at all. Basically, in the rest of the interview, they just go over the things about Charlie and Nick. Nick didn't like Charlie. Charlie didn't like Nick. But after Charlie died, to his credit, he did get mad. He went off on a lot of people because the left, what they're saying about Charlie, and they said, they said it was he was racist. That's the thing, though. Like, sometimes when the facts come out, it can make you sound racist, but you're not racist. It's just that it doesn't sound good out loud. You know what I mean? So Charlie wasn't. Of course, he wasn't a racist, but a lot of black people thought he was, because he would say things about no father households, and have more problematic youth, their kids, and the statistics of, being arrested, prison rates, with black people. So, he's just spitting out facts. But, this hypercharged, lazy generation, they just want to blame everybody for everything. I mean, it's easy to try to pick at something like that. Unless they really want to listen, but obviously they don't seem to want to listen. They just want to complain. We all like to complain sometimes. That's kind of why I do this. So, but I'll give you a little bit here.
Which is, let me hear both sides out, and let me see what's going on. Then you're willing to speak to everybody. I actually think you're willing to speak to anybody. I wouldn't say you're not willing to speak to anybody. And then you got acceptance that we're different, and then you got reason, and then you got love. I actually believe Charlie was at reason and love. And I don't think anybody else in the movement is at reason and love. I don't think anybody else. This is my opinion, how I process this. When I watch you and I see what direction you're going and what your upside is, my only feedback on this topic that we're having, consider this feedback from a person who's never spoken. You and I, just so audience knows, how many times have you and I spoken?
0.
Have we ever DM'd each other?
Never, no.
Have we had a phone call with each other?
Never.
By the way, I think this is very important for the audience to know this. The guy paid for his own flight. We pay for your flight to come down here. We pay for your driver. We pay for your hotel. Didn't let do that. I actually respect that. That was your way of saying, hey, I don't want anybody to say this. I just came here. Whether it's because of safety reason, whatever, I respect all of it. The fact that you did that. And I think the audience needs to do that. Know that because they need to know where your character lies. Pump the brakes.
Father of 4, I have some stuff to take care of, but I want to promise to do a better job every time I get back on. And here's the rest of that video so you guys can tell me what you think.
And Charlie Kirk got assassinated.
Mm-hmm.
How are you processing this with Charlie Kirk? I've seen the tweets, I've seen the videos, but how are you processing this?
Well, on a personal level, it's terrifying, because he was out there and he got blown away doing what we all do, which is a public event or something like that. And of course, the same thing happened to me last year. Somebody came to my door with a gun while I was doing my show and tried to kill me. And so you realize we do really have a problem in the country with this kind of violence. That was kind of the first level. My first reaction is I didn't know if this was some lone nut job. Is there some kind of coordinated attack? If there would be copycats or something. But then on a deeper level, and people are calling me a hypocrite because I had complimentary things to say about Charlie, even though he was my adversary in politics. But I don't see it as a contradiction. I disagreed with him. I still disagree with the things he said. And my views on him from a professional point of view hasn't changed. What I have processed is the reaction to the killing from all of his fans and from people. You see that millions of people were touched by his activism.
Run it up.